This is an early review, but wow, it's tough to put into words how incredible this game is. I've only played the first two missions, so there might be issues I haven't encountered yet, but so far, it's been smooth sailing. First off, it's a technical masterpiece. Honestly, it's the best optimized game I've ever seen. With lifelike graphics, the performance is unbelievable. I'm running a 7900 XTX at max settings, above Ultra, labeled Supreme, at native 1440p and getting a solid 120 FPS. No frame generation, no tweaks, just raw performance. My 99th percentile FPS hovers around 110 with almost no fluctuations. It's unheard of, especially for a release title. Regarding ray tracing, the full RT mode isn't available for AMD or Intel GPUs. As noted in the spec sheet, it's an RTX exclusive feature. That said, the game doesn't feel like it's missing anything. The global illumination, ambient occlusion, and shadows look stunning without it. Hardware RT cores are required to run the game at all, but it's worth it. I can't wait to see what Digital Foundry says about this. This game deserves all the praise for its technical achievements. On top of all that, there are none of the usual issues we've come to expect from modern games. No stuttering, no frame drops, no texture pop-ins. It's flawless. The game itself feels so Indiana Jones. From the voice acting to the art style, it nails the vibe. Even with just 2 missions played, I'd confidently say this is the best and most authentic indie story since The Last Crusade. I was initially cautious about the gameplay, but it's spot on. It's more indie-like than even the indie-inspired games like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, and I love those series. Unlike their focus on third-person combat, this game emphasizes exploration, puzzles, and situational combat, which fits indie perfectly. When combat happens, it's about using your surroundings, brawling, and in desperate moments, relying on your revolver. Of course, the iconic whip is central to traversal, puzzles, and even fighting. If you're an indie fan, you have to play this. Even if you're not, give it a shot. The gameplay is closest to something like Dishonored, but more grounded. If you enjoy story-driven adventures with puzzles and engaging combat, this game will hook you, and maybe even make you an indie fan. After about 6 hours, I'm even more impressed. The game opens up to massive levels with tons of freedom and unexpected side content. I counted about 10 side missions before moving on to focus on the main story, saving them for a second playthrough. Technically, as the game scales to these large areas packed with NPCs, GPU performance holds strong, but CPU demand ramps up. My 5800X3D gets maxed out in the busiest spots, with frame rates dipping below 120 FPS. I capped it at 100 FPS in those moments, and it held steady. For those without a high-end CPU aiming for triple-digit frames, 60 FPS should be no problem. Overall, this game is a masterpiece in every way,